to another exciting episode of Gun Talk. Today is a special episode to me because it is September 1st, and I don't know if you all know this, but today Netflix just did something. They did the unthinkable. They put the entire seasons of Sister on Netflix. And anybody that knows me personally knows that these are Tia and Tamara here. And aside from them being identical and whatnot, when I bought these from the manufacturer, they shipped them to me with sequential serial numbers. So they are to the T twin 1911s. They're back to back from one another. But anybody that clicks on these videos, they're not interested in seeing the pros and cons, because they know that the capacity is 7 plus 1, or you can find some 8s or whatever. I think anything over 10 with the 1911 kind of looks ridiculous, but to each his own. But these firearms, they have been known. These are world renowned. I mean, these have been in the presence and in the theater of war for well over 100 years now, and people still use modernized versions of these. I've known detectives who use them. Several police officer friends of mine, they use them. Military friends and things like that. Like, these are still, what people rely on as their go-to firearms. So the whole 7-round thing, I mean, if it could work for guys in Vietnam or any war here in between, it could work for someone as their daily carry. These are 45 ACPs, so when you put a fully loaded magazine in there, there will be a little bit of a weight shift, but it's not anything that you can't handle. These here, these are the Tisas brand. Now the Tisas brand, it is, I'm not going to call it cheap by any means. I mean, I don't know how you all's financial situations are right now, but $400, that's not, sure enough, that's not a new Bentley, obviously, but it isn't just some cheap knock around. Nobody's gonna just say, hey, here's for $400. So I'm not gonna call it cheap by any means. I will say it is inexpensive compared to some of the Kimbers I've shot. I think the Remington's 1911, theirs are about, I think, like $700 I've seen for one. Rock Island makes one for, I think, another $100 or something like that. There's a lot of manufacturers who make the 1911. I can talk for hours on how many brands there are, but if you find a good one that's inexpensive, that gets the job done, stick with it. And I mentioned this in some of my earlier videos. I mean, if I got a SIG 1911 or a Kimber 1911 and I'm using it for everyday carry, I'm not going to want my stuff sitting in some god-awful evidence locker, and Lord forbid if I don't fill out the proper paperwork after the case is closed, then they're going to destroy my firearm. So I think that $400 for these, it's a pretty good deal. And they did not come with the Pro grips on there. I did that. I'm a big fan of Harlem Nights, and they kind of had a similar setup in there. So that's enough of me rambling. Y'all didn't come here to hear me ramble and whatnot. I will check these and ensure that they're not loaded. Sure enough, the magazines are sitting here, but like I said, you never know. You're always supposed to treat these things as if they're loaded. So what I'm gonna do, sorry if this light stuns you or stuns your camera or what have you, but it's something that has to be done. So I'm gonna check the magazine well. Nothing's in there. I'm going to put and now I'm not gonna put my fingers ever in there to check it. That's why we have flashlights. And I'm not gonna stare down the front of these barrels here. Quite honestly, I think that's ridiculous. Barrel's clear. Chamber's clear. That one's clear. So now, when you guys are shooting these, and when we go to the range today, I'm going to have a change of clothes on, because I don't agree with having lead all over my clothes to the point where I couldn't even come home and give my son a great big old hug. And the reason why I say that is because if you think that lead exposure is a laughable matter, I mean, I would welcome you to do some research, look up some literature, read up on the effects of lead. And if you think that it's a joke after you've read up on it, I feel the sorriest for you. But you know, these these ranges, I know some ranges that are still in business from the 60s before certain laws had came into play. So when you guys go out to find whatever range it is you're looking for, make sure they're well ventilated. If you find a lead-free range, I know there is one in Michigan, you guys struck gold. You know, you can eat out on that range, for God's sake. That's how clean it is, and they'll check your rounds and make sure they're lead-free. You know, so just make sure that you guys are really conscious of what lead can do to somebody. Now, I'm not gonna say, well, I only shoot lead-free rounds and whoop-de-whoop. You know, if I was carrying my everyday carry, however my attacker would meet his maker, whether it be lead poisoning or otherwise, that's something that he'll have to take up with. But just be conscious of the effects of lead. You know, so enough of my rambling. We've made sure these firearms are clear. So now we're going to talk over the etiquette, you know, I'm going to display into the range. When I put these in the case, I'm going to have a special mark on my case to let me know where the muzzles are facing. You know, and I'm going to adjust the case, not the gun. So if I had both of them in there, I'm not going to put them, you know, this way and that way, because it wouldn't be safe for my neighbors next to me in the range lanes. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure they're in a safe direction. Now I got to pick them up, so when I pick them up, I'm going to make sure my finger is off the trigger, high on the frame. Now I got to make sure they're clear. I'm either going to open the action with a empty magazine and the slide will lock back. I'm going to make sure it's clear, and so on. So when you guys see me do this, this is what I'm doing. So it's not just, oh, what is he doing? He's fumbling with his case and whoop-de-whoop. I'm not necessarily doing that. I'm going through several stages of making sure my firearm is safe, not only for me, but those around me. And that's a lot of what I see in some of these you know, videos of people shooting. They're not really conscious of what's happening around them. You know, everybody wants to be excited about going to the range, but when it comes down to it, I mean, you know, like I said, you guys gotta excuse me, you guys gotta look at some of the range you guys shoot at. If there's bullet holes in some of the the wall fixtures in between, maybe you might not want to go there. You know, and that comes from carelessness. You know, if someone dropped a hot piece of brass down their shirt and they said, oh, you know, that's how accidents happen. So just make sure these muzzles are in a safe direction. You know, like I say, when I take my firearms to the range, I typically have a mark on my case indicating where the barrels are facing. So I know, all right, I'm gonna set the dot downrange, so I know that these barrels are facing downrange, and then I'll pack them in that same fashion. So enough of my rambling. I'm sorry. You know, this is just something I take pretty seriously. So I'm sorry about rambling. You guys are gonna meet me at the range, and I'm gonna have a separate change of clothes on, and
What's up, buddy? Good? Hey, Brooke, my man. What you about to fire over there? I just want to know.
45.
That be That be so jammy. Yep. that big AR? Man, I ain't got time to be hearing that beat, dog. Look how little you know how to be the beat. Hey, what? I'm traumatized, nigga. Woo! What's up, brother?
Good.
What's up, nigga?
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
What? You don't want to see that dick? You don't? You don't want to?
I got you. What?
What's up, buddy? Oh,
Sit there. Sit there.
I'm ready. I'll let you in the phone for the run. I got you now.
Ooh, man, them things were out there smoking, you know. And I'm sorry I didn't get to shoot as much as I like. But there's an old saying: you don't shoot as much as you want to, you shoot as much as you have to. And during these times where ammo is kind of hard to find because new gun owners are out there running rapid, I'm only gonna shoot this amount of rounds, and I'm sorry for that. I truly am. But you all can see that the Tisas brand, they did hold their own. And I have, before this whole pandemic, ammo shortage, people going crazy type of deal, before all of this, I had put quite a few hundred rounds through these things, and they have stood the test. You know, so if you all are considering getting the Tisas 1911, the Tisas Sig 1911, go ahead and do it. You know, I can't say that I have anything bad to say about them. If you all enjoyed watching Tia and Tamara, you know, in action, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and turn them notifications on so you all can be notified as soon as a new video drops. And you know, I truly appreciate you all. You know, I watch the views go up on some of the videos, and I'm like, wow, that's one more view. So I just want y'all to know I really appreciate the support and whatnot. Continue to like, comment, subscribe, and next time, I forgot to mention this, next time we're going to be showing you guys the binary trigger. Unfortunately, YouTube won't allow me to do an install video, but if y'all need to, you know, if y'all got any questions on how to, ask me in the comments and I'll try to help you the best way I can. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and be safe. Y'all have a good one.